Okay, good morning everyone from my side of the world. This is Formana. Welcome to the emergency NLNP broadcast, dubbed Ninja episode. We're going gumi on everyone right now. I'll be taking over Ichitasty's spot for now, and he'll be joining us later in the show. And now for this show's panel, please introduce yourself, Nova.
Hey guys, I'm Nova. I'm a recent Twitch streamer. Trying to get the Brave Frontier community going on Twitch because I know there's a lot of yeah.
And for the rest of the returning panel, say hi, Mofo,
Hello guys, what's up?
Blackula.
Hi, Blackula.
And okay, let's get straight to the point. We're going to talk about the Thunder Vortex mishaps, the event rumors, and the new raw data that we were able to get from Reddit. So first off, the Thunder Vortex. What happened, guys?
Good
No,
question.
that's good.
All I know is I tried to go in earlier and game crashed. I tried to go in again, it crashed. I tried to go in again, you finally got in, but then it told me I was queued. So I couldn't even get a match.
Oh yeah.
So it became like League of Legends.
It's like that was
I
the
actually have.
first.
Yeah. It was like Brave Frontier got DDoSed like PlayStation did because I heard about that and I was like, oh, you know, you try to enter, but apparently it's not working. And then like after like I think it was like 10, 12 hours, they just like closed it down and like took away everybody's points. I think.
Would you guys think that this would delay further events like Ease's Legendary Dungeon?
I hope not.
I mean, that's the way it works, right? You go
but
rates up, and then Vortex, and then the Legendary Dungeon.
but it's like hopefully if they have it like released like maybe tomorrow, hopefully everything's worked out by tomorrow maybe. I don't see why there would be any like reason to delay like anything else, if by only just one day.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 days is fine. I would be totally fine with them releasing it Thursday, so people would actually get like units ready. Because a lot of the people were asking for like Evo materials, so for Thursday, like they would have gotten Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get all their units ready for this.
Do you think it had something to do with the misrelease of the half of the new batches 6 stars?
I don't think it was like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the other way around. I think the releasing of the Thunder Vortex and like them not having it ready, because I know they had like an update, like a manual update from the store, I believe, earlier. So maybe that was to fix like issues with the Thunder Vortex, because the Thunder Vortex is something that they're not like, I guess you could say, copy and pasting from like the Japanese version. So maybe there was like issues with that caused them to want to delay the evolution. Not sure, but basically, it for whatever reason just delayed it by like a few hours. It wasn't that big of a deal. It's still the same day. So as far as Evo goes, I don't think that was the issue. It was really something to go with like something wrong with the Thunder Vortex.
The thing is, we've had problems with events in the past, but I don't think it has reached the point that it has been this problematic. Like the server's been unstable for like more than 12 hours since last night.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
got it got fixed only around 3 a.m. my time, which was 7 hours ago.
And
So what
it
does
wasn't
this?
really completely fixed.
Oh right, yeah. The Thunder Vortex is still not up yet.
Yep.
So when are we expecting the new Vortex?
I mean,
guessing maybe tomorrow or the following day.
didn't they have an issue with the fire vortex? Like the same thing, kind of something happened, and then like it just got either released a few hours. Actually, I think it got released the next day, didn't it? Didn't they hold off on releasing it the next day? I forget.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, aren't Gumi supposed to be prepared for this stuff? Because they experienced this problem before.
Yeah.
That probably brings up the same thing with Frontier Hunter rewards release. Because on the fourth one, I was waiting to get Tillith, and then it was like, what, a week, 10 days or something, like ridiculously long, that they delayed it, and it was like the fourth one. And then the fifth one, there was like no problems, so I'm not entirely sure like how that even happens anymore. They attributed it to what was called we are still looking at hackers and whatnot. So if they were doing that thoroughly, wouldn't the Frontier Hunter 5 get delayed more? But it didn't. It got released on time. So I guess it's like they know what they're doing, but I guess like there's like I'm not entirely sure what happened with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so enough about the Thunder Vortex. I'm sure it's coming soon. How about the event rumors? Does anyone want to start off with that?
And rumors, yeah, the one from Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
They said that Luther's batch, the Luther's first half, would be released on the end of the month, and Gilma's half would be released probably tomorrow. Wow, that's really Gumi's really cramming stuff with the to us right now.
Well, all I can say is if these rumors are like true, that hopefully they will give us something frogs to help level up our units.
You're right, man.
That was subtle.
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause, leveling units is no walk in the park.
It's
So
No,
very
actually, I'd have to disagree with that statement. I think leveling your units is a walk in the park. Brave Burst leveling them is like taking a tour through hell.
That's true. That's
All right,
true.
next 5 of you get to go down to hell. Will one of you make it out? That's pretty much how it works.
I do have to say that I have been really enjoying the super fusion rate stuff, and that actually has made farming, I mean, just a lot more worthwhile because I've been getting a lot of Brave Burst levels during this period.
Yes.
I mean, if this was something that I would hope this is something that they would like do again in the future because this just really does help out.
well, since there's a lot of new updates coming up, I mean new unit releases, is it safe to say that we'll be expecting Super Metal Parade again soon?
Well, I'm hoping that we would have SMB soon. The that would coincide with the super rate, the fusion rates up that they have going right now.
Yeah, I was thinking they should make it part of like an 800,000 Facebook likes celebration because if I'm not mistaken, that happened recently as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we were I noticed that they're doing the 700,000 one, right? And then I'm looking at the Brave Frontier Facebook page right now, and it's already at 800,000. So, will that be included? Because I'm pretty sure they did one every 100,000. So
Yeah.
and stuff.
I'm looking at it now. It's like 808,243 likes.
I wonder what we'll get for the million.
Perfect frogs.
Oh god.
What
The
about
thing is,
Well, go
with
ahead.
this with these new unit releases, especially that they're being crammed into such a short period of time, I'm guessing we're gonna expect Raid and Maxwell soon too. What can you guys say about that?
Uh,
Myself,
are we ready? Are we ready to face Maxwell? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's the big question.
That's the big question. Are we ready to face Maxwell yet?
oh, I always welcome challenge.
Because I mean, you got to
So
think a lot of people that had when Maxwell first came out, a lot of the units we're getting now, well, they've already had them in their 6-star forms, and there were some people that said that they fought Maxwell well over 50 or 60 times before they finally beat him, and they've got way more powerful units than us now in Japan. So it's like I don't know if we're ready for Maxwell yet.
then again, we already know what to do. So we're halfway there.
and
Yeah, that's
knowing
the
Yeah,
good thing as well. We
and
know what
knowing
we're
is
gonna
half the
do.
battle.
I
How
think
about you,
when
Nova?
I think when Lilith 6-star comes out, because we already have Themis, and I don't think Themis is necessarily needed 6-star form, but it would help. But I think we're missing Lilith because every video I look at, it seems like Lilith is the one that actually does damage, which is the only one we're missing against like single bosses because we can't keep infinite breakers going against one unit. It's just not possible. Either you'll run out of items or your team will eventually die. And the damage on Lilith is actually pretty big. So I think when she comes out, we'll be able to probably have a better chance of at least beating Maxwell because we still have 3 teams. We don't necessarily have to use one team, but I think Lilith will help a ton, especially.
Nova, don't worry, because I think it's going to be released 2 days from now,
Yeah,
following the
if that
rumor.
happens, then they're probably queuing it up because I think Lilith is like the premier 1v1 boss killer. Like she stands on herself by you don't need any support to give her, just throw her on Divine Stone
Exactly,
and she'll do a lot of work.
exactly. And I think Gumi had this fusion rates up, going for a month, for a week, just because for this daily 6-star updates for to help the players level their units.
Yeah, it was a nice gesture to do it for like not just like 3 days, but like I think it was total like closer
10
to
days.
10 days. Yeah.
10 days.
So that covers pretty much like all of the well, the latter half of that first Super Metal Parade we got, because I know a lot of people were glad we got a Super Metal Parade, but then they weren't. They actually spent it all already, and then the 6-stars came out. So at least with even regular Metal Parade units on Great and Super, we could probably get those up to 100 a lot faster because it's not the regular rates. I think they said it's double
Oh yeah.
the double the super, so it's like super. So I've seen
Super super.
way more great successes on average. Like it feels like the rates are actually up. Like I'm seeing more greats than regular successes, and then like whenever I see a super, it's like, oh yes, so good,
Exactly.
free.
Like I was working. I forget which unit I was working on, but it's like okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna keep track of every time I get this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11 fusions. The first 5 consecutive were greats. Then I got a super, and then that last 5 were all great.
Wow.
It's like I'm like wow. Wow. It's like
One lucky.
it wouldn't stop.
Yeah. So probably with all these events that they're having, or units that are being released or updated, then I'm really, I'm really at least 80% sure that raids would be coming on the next month. Don't you agree?
I'm pretty confident that it will be coming in September, and we'll I say we'll be having it around mid-September, and then we'll be getting Maxwell around late September or early the month after.
Yeah, that's possible.
How about Raid? How ready are we for Raid?
I'm looking forward to Raid. Well, I mean, I think now that we've got Ice Tower Yulu, I think we're closer to being ready for Raid now that we've got the Ice Fortress.
Yeah, I still like calling him Icebox Cooler.
Frigid Air.
Really there.
Yeah, like a lot of people were just like brute forcing through everything. I feel like with Zebra and now Mare. I don't think that method will work for Raid. So we really needed like the best defense is defense. So we have defense now, so it's okay.
Guardian Master Race.
Yeah,
Yes.
Although,
I was
although
torn. I had I had 3 Teslas and I was torn on which one I wanted to evolve. So I ended up evolving 2 of them. I evolved my Guardian one and my Anima one.
what?
Yeah, I evolved 2, and I still have a third one I could evolve if I want to. I had a Lord one.
What?
That was at BB.
I have like 10 or 12.
And all 3 of them were like level 80, and it's like, yeah, I don't know which one I'm going to evolve now. I'm just going to evolve these and just go ahead with it and see what happens. But my friend showed me, he evolved his animal one, and he already maxed it out. And Yulu, with the leg wand, still had 2.4k defense. And I'm thinking, wow, well, I have an animal one, but I also evolved my Guardian one. So if his animal one's got 2.4 defense, his Guardian one must have at least 2.6 or 2.7k defense.
Yeah. Like for me, before like we had like multiple units that you use a lot. We didn't have that too much before, but then when Douglas came, I had like 4 Douglases. And I was like doing the math, and I'm like, does this really matter? Like this extra defense, this unit, and I have like 4 Guardians and 1 Anima, and I just did like the first battle in End against the Idols, and those things pack a punch. I remember actually having to use defense potion on that team if I didn't want to like use a shooter or something. So I was like, okay. So I fought them for like 4 turns, and I noticed a pattern because they were doing tons of AOE constantly. I was looking at my Anima, and it was like almost dead, and I look at my Guardian, and it's like it has like 50% more HP, and I'm like, but the defense wasn't like too different. But then I realized like reducing like the incoming damage and comparing like the 800 or like 600 HP you get from an Anima actually doesn't like in the long term doesn't really count as much as like that extra 200 defense. I was thinking about the attack and I'm like, does 200 attack even matter? And in the end, it really doesn't because you'll stack damage on sparks anyways. And if you don't kill things faster, you get more points anyway. So I was like, okay, Guardian's probably the best way to go. And it was. And I was getting tons of points, and my Douglases weren't even dying to like Vargas easily. So that was nice. My animal one did die though. Like I wanted to see how many turns it would last, like no defense, and I think it died like after the 8th turn. Because heart crystals are still like random, but for the most part, like I noticed a huge difference.
I remember Frontier Hunter 4. I called myself going in with Raw and 5 Douglases. I took a friend Douglas instead of a friend Falnius. And then round 4, I ran into Fargus, and that was not pretty. So much earth and absolutely 0 water on my team to help with that damage, and he just wrecked my Dougs.
So moving on to the upcoming rumors about the events. Since we'll be having raids, we'll be having sphere frogs and imps as well. How do you guys would that? How do you guys think that would affect the game for us right now in this state?
Well, I mean, I guess until we receive this much harder content, it won't necessarily affect us like in the short term. But this is something that's not going to. We won't really see the effects of it probably till like long term. Because I mean, unless they have like new maps coming out, where there's like tougher battles and stuff. I don't see it being too much. I see it if the content isn't going to get difficulty now, and it's just going to make current stuff a little bit easier. Rather than just helping you get through it. It's going to make it just easy.
Mostly uh, the testing grounds for the new spheres and the imps. So everything would be on the arena side. Just imagine everyone having upgraded stats and double spheres in arena.
Oh man,
Um,
I already have an idea for what I want to use.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But honestly, I don't think it'll be that effective yet, because what I'm gonna see is I'm not really worried about the effect it'll have on us, because we'll probably like my recommendation is to hold on to it until people actually test stuff out, because you don't want to just use up these sphere frogs and I told they're like fantasy demons, like that's what they're gonna be called. Um, for the imps. But like I'm worried about like the average player just like using these willy nilly on like units that aren't even good. So for like I think that presents more of a challenge to the newer players. For us, it's probably like, oh cool, we get to like put Gra double sphere, and then he'll be able to like have like a Leguan gem and like or Divine Stone like a Magic Ore or something like that. Something like ridiculous combos. But for them, there's like, oh, I like this unit, I'll put this on, and then later on in the game, they're like, oh, I wish I had that Sphere Frog because those things are like really rare.
Hmm.
I already thought that my first sphere frog I would probably give to a healer, because usually with healers when we put spheres on them, we usually make a choice. We're either going to put something like a refined gem or an evil shard, or you want to maybe increase their stats, but you can't do both right now. But with a sphere frog, you know what, you'd be able to put a stat increasing sphere like a leg one, and give them the ability to either have their BB bar go up with the evil shard, or just no status effects with the evil or the refined gem. So it's like that kind of combination I really would like to do for a healer. But I hate having to choose between the two, and having my healers have like less
Yeah.
health and all that stuff than everybody else in the team, and then it's like you're always guarding with that healer, and you're trying to protect that healer because it has the least HP of everybody on the team.
Then gets crit, and then it dies, and then you're sad. You're like,
And then
why was I even guarding in the first place?
and then you can't even heal your team now because it's dead.
Yep. By the way, since we're talking about the spheres and the frogs, how do we have any data on how these things are distributed? Like, how is it in the Japanese server? Are they just given, or are they just summoned through honor summon, or?
Well, I
I think
know. Go ahead.
right.
I've
The
seen.
raid frogs.
I've also seen them being given out later as. I don't know about the sphere front, but I do know the imps or whatever they're called have been given out as later Frontier Hunter rewards, like in Terminus.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen them because I play Japanese. I've seen them as rewards from Terminus and End. I think the Sphere Frog was one for like getting a really high score in End, which
Oh,
wouldn't be too big of a deal. And I think the Leguan is still the staple for Terminus, and I think you just get more stat from Terminus as well.
here's something. Here's
Yeah.
something I remember someone telling me. I remember someone telling me that eventually the Karma dungeon is going to get upgraded again, and you'll be able to capture them from the Karma dungeon.
Yep, I can confirm this. It's actually they changed it from more of a karma dungeon to the you need to power level dungeon because you get ridiculous amounts of experience on that. I think it's like 25 energy for like 9.2k
Wow.
experience.
Wow.
So that's a bit much. Like Karma Dungeon was honestly useless. Like yeah, at least Friday, like it made sense. You know, you need materials, but you don't have access to the location, so you like just farm there. But like Monday is just like here's a mediocre uh, amount of karma, and you can go and like cry because you clicked this accidentally. So at least they made it worth it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting on 20 million karma right now myself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like, will I ever use 20 million karma?
Nope. Not yet, at least. Because I actually was doing a stream, and this was when the sphere, no, not the sphere. Yeah, the spheres got upgraded, right? And then you spent your karma on it, and then like I clicked the back button, and then all of my karma was refunded, and I was like, what? Didn't I just spend like 3 mil karma here and I got it all back? And I talked to Gumi about it and they're like, oh yes, that's an issue. We'll have to fix that. So I was like, well, I just basically got all these upgrades for free. Thanks. So karma's like completely useless.
So, what can we get again from that armor dungeon? We can get imps too.
Yes.
What about
Like
frog?
a rare drop. It's a really rare drop.
Oh. What about frogs? Can we get frogs from that dungeon too?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
Sphere Frogs, they made like a dungeon for that separately, where it was like you could get burst frogs, and then the boss would always be a Sphere Frog. That was open for like a set amount of days, and That's how people were able to get so many Sphere Frogs reliably. The other way is through RNGesus, because the slot machine that they have has the almighty Sphere Frog, and that's probably the rarest reward you can get. As of right now, I probably pulled at least like 100 times. I got like 0, maybe 1 from that slot machine. So it's
I'm wondering
rare.
if that slot machine making its way to global.
Oh, I'm guessing it
Well,
will.
it gets the slot machine gets released along with raid because you need raid points to
Okay.
use it.
Yeah. What about honor summon? What does honor summon give?
Apparently, we're supposed to have.
Huh?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in Honor Summon as well as Burst Frogs. But as far as I could tell, Burst Frogs aren't an Honor Summon that we have right now. They also have crystals, but we don't have crystals. So I'm just waiting for the day. Like I'm probably just gonna keep hoarding my honor summons until they release something that I can get that's useful besides crystals. Because crystals are nice, but with Super Metal Parade being released more often, I just don't see it being worth my honor summons yet.
Yeah, same. How many honor summons do you have stocked up?
I think right now only like 400. Before, when crystals
400,
came out, I had like over 600, and I used them all because I was just like, I don't like. I'm tired of waiting. My boxes was like at like 70 just honor points, and I was just like, time to just go it all and take a ton of screenshots for science, because that was like when multiple. You could take pictures of your honor summons 10 at a time, so I just did that. But now I regret it. Like, it was useless.
Yeah.
Honor summon as well.
When they gave us the crystals in the last honor summon up, when they gave us the crystals, I went ahead and it's like, oh wow, it's about time they put crystals. So it's like I used all the honor summons I had. Now I don't know if I should have done that. If I should have just Or if I should have just held out just a little bit longer, but it's like, man, I'm tired of holding out for frog. I can't wait any longer. The weight is killing me.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah,
Anyhow,
I'm
for the
entering my
same thing.
final summons in wait because I'm waiting for the spear frogs or imps or whatever. And if they're not going to be released, then what's the point of hoarding all your honor points then?
moving on. We had a post on Reddit by BFLMP, the community moderator who does unit analysis as well. He was given raw data about the raw unit skills and all the percentages for the buffs, the brave burst damage, the healing, and so on and so forth. So, what do you guys think this will do
I
for every one of us?
Well, I guess it'll make you like if you wanted to use a unit because it had said buff, but you wasn't really sure if it was a good enough buff to said this unit. Then now that you have the data, you can see, oh wow, this unit is just as good as this unit in this area. So if I don't want to really take this one unit, I have an alternate I can take. So it's like you're not just going to be limited to taking one type of unit, one unit that has just that type of buff. Now knowing this data, you can kind of just plan and like, okay, I don't want to take him. I'll take this unit with me instead.
Yeah, exactly, and we also have knowledge now when comparing like or composing a good team, and
Just
so it also helps free to play players. The what if a free to play player wants an attack buffer, but he or she doesn't have any access on Michelle or Wise or whatever unit that gives an attack buff. They can always hunt for uh what's the unit called, the dark unit, succubus. Can
Hmm.
always hunt for it, and because according to the data, it has like 80% attack buff, and that's huge for just a trash mob.
Yeah, it's comparable to Vice, right?
Exactly.
I'd like to welcome Ichi to the show.
What's going on, man?
Say hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
Anyhow, we're now talking about the raw data database that Sam was able to put up for us.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was a lot of fun getting into this morning. There was so much that I was really interested to find out, and I feel like so many questions were answered. But at the same time, I almost feel like a kid who got to see his Christmas presents early. He snuck into his parents' closet and kind of looked in there and saw everything and said, "Oh man, now I know what I'm getting for Christmas." You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, all right, well now I know all these values, and there's no point in testing, and there's no point in being surprised, like, oh man, this and that and the other thing. But at the same time, it's pretty interesting.
I was just surprised when I looked. I looked for one person mainly, and that was Michelle, because there was so much dispute about what her percentage buff, and it's like when I saw what it was, I'm like, wow, it was even less than what we thought. That super very first 10, like according to that data, it was only 115. It's like, wow, were we way off?
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Our testing was very close on a lot of things, but then there were other things that we were just completely blown away. The one thing that gets me and just drives me absolutely crazy, the whole Magris thing. The fact that Magris has, in his description, actually says in there, it says, greatly boosts defense, and he has one of the lowest defensive buffs in the game. It's 40%. There are, what is it? I think Undyne in her 4-star form, or whatever it is, I think is higher than that. I think hers is like
Meltia.
50%. Yeah,
Four
Meltia
Now
star
it
is 5
has
star.
90%.
which is,
Lemonara has 90%.
What's does it have a okay? I'm just gonna look it up. You guys keep talking.
You know what I'm saying though? Like it drives me nuts to see that because it just makes me think like, all right, why? Why even put that in there? And then all these other ones like Bran. Who would have known that Bran was going to be an incredible defensive buff? His is actually only a step below Zelban's. I think Zelban's I saw was 115, and then his is like 110 or something. I
Yeah.
mean that's insane. And his is higher than Tesla's. Tesla's is like 100.
hmm Wait, the Tesla's buff lasts for 3 turns.
Tesla's defensive buff I believe lasts for 3 turns.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not positive off the top of my head, but
Yeah, it's 3 turns for his.
yeah, I
Defense.
mean it's just getting to see all that stuff and getting to see like exactly what we were looking at this whole time and being like, oh, that's why this is that. And the biggest thing I think everyone can agree is Eric.
Random damage.
Random damage, but it is insane. It's like 800%. That is way higher than I mean like most of the area of effect guys are what like 300%.
Yeah.
At 6 stars, and he's sitting here at 800%. So if you're going against a single target, or if you're going against a single boss or something like that, here you have that going for you. And if that boss can get status ailments, then you can throw in. Well, did we test that? I forget if anyone tested that or not. Whether you can throw in a status ailment leader like Lyra or Vishra or something like that,
Well,
Oh,
and
yeah.
have each one proc separately.
Quas was able to test it.
as the data for that, I think Quas has data for it, saying that every hit is independent of each other when applying certain debuff like armor ignore and whatnot.
hmm And then also with the critical hits, right? Each one counts as its own.
Uh, about that, I don't think random attack speed.
Yeah,
Uh,
going off of Eric though, like I just looked this up since we were mentioning Eric. You also have to mention Ziz. Um, and there's
And
there's a
Sazabes.
huge discrepancy between 4 star Ziz and his 5 star form. If you look at the numbers, like I don't even know how this happened because like his percentage on his 4 stars apparently 60%. Then if you look at Zazabiz, then you're like looking at the damage percent, and at BBB 10 hit 600, and you're like, what happened here? Uh,
well, I mean, he just got out of the closet. He's been bullied for so long that he said,
yeah, you see, this is the stuff you wouldn't know. Like, I wouldn't have taken my time out to even look at 5 stars is ever. But like, since now we know, like, it's like,
Yeah, I
really
mean
not bad.
that's the other thing. Actually, I'm gonna check this right now while I'm thinking of it.
Wow.
I wanted to check Vanilla, but she isn't showing up.
Wow.
Single L.
Meltia's
Oh,
crit
there.
buff percentage is the same as Aisha's crit buff percentage.
Yep. It also has a defense buff.
And 80%. 80%.
Mhm.
She's good. See, I knew there was a reason I kept this unit.
Blackula, Blackula,
Well,
Blackula.
stats wise though,
Oh no, yeah, but I'm a big fan of support units, so it's like, but I
High
just
five here, Blackula. High five.
yeah.
For the Melty fine.
that poor man's crit team.
Oh, God. I sold the whole batch except for this. Oh
See,
my
I
god.
got rid of it. She was actually at one point. I actually kept her and High Elf, but eventually I got rid of High Elf and only kept Meltia. Or I mean, well, Liminara. I had her at 5, so I got rid of her and only kept Meltia.
Yeah, now I'm looking at Vanilla. I forgot that she also had a chance to proc a probable status effect. And yeah, she has a 19% chance to cast each one, and then her damage percent's only 400%. I say only in comparison to like Eric and 5-star Zazaviz, but I mean, still, that's not terrible. And the fact that she is a free unit, and the fact that she's a maiden, I mean, that's still, if you compare her to the other maidens, that still makes her at least somewhat usable. The only thing is, I don't know sparking wise. I don't really remember her attack animation off the top of my head. But the fact that she can cast status ailments and also have that 400% damage, I mean, that's still better than nada.
Yeah, the thing is with this data that we have too is that there's a lot of little details that we didn't know about before. Like for example, for Locke, his SBB, when you level it up, along with the damage, you also reduce the BC cost for it.
Same with Philip.
Yeah, Tilith as well.
Yep. It's like I noticed that with I was originally looking at Tesla, and it says reduces damage by half. So what's the point in BB leveling? And then somebody was like, oh, the battle crystals go down. And I was like, well, if a battle crystal can go down every time you BB level, there's probably other units that people probably haven't taken the time out to actually check, or something that have their crystals reduced when you BB level them as well. Because in the long run, like even though it's 10 levels, those 10 levels really matter if you're using that unit a lot. So I still think that like actually knowing that your BB level is going down is really useful, because then that'll help factor in, like, there's so many percentages that we know about now, with like battle crystal drop rates and whatnot. So it'll probably make things easier. Maybe switch off the sphere that you're using, like probably like a BB gauge refill sphere for something like a crit up sphere or something else.
Now, does this database have it has information for the units? Does it have sphere data information as well, or just units?
For now, only
Just
units.
unit.
Okay.
No sphere data yet.
Yeah, I don't think that the sphere data is too much of a big deal, because the only thing that matters, I think, is the actual percentages for the like stat increasing. Like that's the only thing you really actually need to know about, because when you put it all together, the unit will probably decide more than the sphere that you put on it. And if you have the sphere, then it's just a bonus. Like the Dandelga, because you can stack that with
Evil
BB
Shard.
giving spheres. So, like, that's another reason why bringing back up that Guardian choice. I was like, looking at it, if I'm really gonna, because I'm gonna first use my first sphere frog probably on Olu. So I was like, okay, if I put a Dandelga on this and like an Evil Shard on it, so that'll be like 6 battle crystals a turn, and then I'll get extra HP and attack anyway. So I actually do need the defense. So looking at it at that point, that's why it's like another reason why like I choose Guardian, because you already get so much bonus HP from lots of other stuff.
Yeah, that was the other thing with Sphere Frogs. I'm trying to figure out exactly who I would use it on, because I have like in the Japanese version, I have all of these units that like I'm getting one at a time because I'm a free player there. So I'm getting like real interesting stuff, and I'm really happy with what I've got. But I'm just throwing Sphere Frogs on whoever I have. But since some of them are kind of rare, I mean, I don't know exactly who I want to use it on first, and that's a good point. I mean, 6-star Tesla would be a good choice, but then like who else besides like I don't know Maxwell?
Yeah.
Gra.
Hellband.
Tillith is one.
Sure.
Tillith is one. I know Tillith will be one. Zebra has, it's like a TB to be determined. He's on a clock, I feel. They're eventually, I think, going to nerf him, maybe. Because I've been asking for his if the like if they know when like it did this patch taken place, and they're just like we don't know. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll just find out. But in terms of actually knowing like when that'll come, I'd say like when we least expect it, it'll be nerfed, and then everybody who's using like a crit team will be like really sad. They'll have to like start transitioning.
Yeah,
And then if it comes to the point after like they've spent like everything on it, it's like, why?
that's the other thing. I think they need to leave the paying players a way out. I don't think they can take that away from them just because A, there would be such a huge uproar, and B, I mean, they did pay to get those specific teams. If you take that away, then all of that money that they put into A, raising those teams, B, getting those teams together, C, summoning for those specific units, like that all becomes all for naught because now all of a sudden, like, what do you do with those units if you can't use them in that exact sequence?
I use Maxwell. Because that's what I've seen, right? You would have the SGX still gives, I think, the highest crit buff out of any unit. Actually, looking at the units for the crit buff percentage was actually really interesting, I think. Because if it applies like a first hit, it's like what 60%, I believe, at 10. So you'd still want that. Michelle still good attack buffer. Still has a lot of hits too. That's the thing. I'd rate units more by hits first sometimes, and then I'd take into their support like second. Because like I tried running teams, like trying to run without like any kind of BB gauge regeneration, like double Gra and like you have Melchio, Michelle, Zelvin, like stuff like that. It's really difficult. I found that even in the content we have now, like if I didn't have a Zelvin, I think my team would just straight up die in like Agni.
No, yeah,
That's what happens.
not having that defensive buff is
Zelban fan here.
but
Oh yeah, Zelvin.
yeah, we are Zelban fans here.
Welcome to the club.
Big thing, like
I've been preaching this since like last month, so.
Zell, like I said, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, like, as far as like turtle teams go or tank teams and stuff like that, like a lot of what I'm seeing lately, they're throwing in those fixed numbers, and that's one thing that they can't stand up to, especially because they can't stand the test of time. If you can't keep up with damage, there's no way that you're going to get farther with just a turtle team because you're going to end up falling short because they're going to outlast you. You know what I'm saying? So the defense is so big, and it's going to be big, but it can only take you so far. So you need to find that nice balance. And I think that's the other thing that we're getting into now is that there's such a wide variety of units. I mean, there's what, like 600 plus units now? I mean, there's so many different combinations, and I mean, that's just another thing you can see in the Japanese version. I mean, there's just so many different combinations. No person has the same team. And I'm really interested to see where it goes from there. But I mean, like, yeah, Zelban, if it wasn't for him, I don't know how far I'd get. Like right now, I'm auto battling, just getting support fodder for 6-star Tesla, and if he wasn't in that team, I would be sitting here staring at my screen the entire time because I wouldn't trust it. There's no way.
Yeah. Because what I was actually noticing, like, okay, I was looking at some videos, like, what teams do people bring to, like, raid class 3? And every time I look, there's always the standard BB gauge, like, refill, and there's, like, some form of damage mitigation, and then, of course, you have Maxwell, because it's just, like, broken.
Yeah.
So you bring the broken stuff, that gives you attack, that stabilizes your team for consistent damage, which is why Lilith is really, really, like, I think when she comes, like, everybody's just going to go crazy over that, because...
I have so much saved up for her. I have light stuff out the ass, just waiting. I can't wait.
So Thursday is gonna be anarchy.
Oh, something that was something that I found interesting concerning Tillith that I didn't know until I saw it here is that her BC cost goes down tremendously from level 1 to level 10. It takes 100 at level 1. It takes 120 BCs to fill up her Brave Burst bar, and at level 10 it takes 75.
Yep.
And that's another thing. Like I love Tillith. I think she's a great unit, but she's so situational that I have trouble like getting excited about her. And that's only because like okay, awesome in a crit team. What else? Because you have to
I
really
remember getting Tilith, and I was like, how much battle crystals does this fill? Like I remember like Loden coming out, it was like a big deal for like a day or two, and then he like faded away when his 5-star formed. So I was hoping Tilith would be different, and then I actually did like tests, and it feels I don't know about BC cost because I think the BC cost I'm looking at here for units is like the lowest, which is like I think one actual battle crystal, not the two that we're used to seeing. Because a lot of people like use different units of measurement, but now I guess we actually have the lowest form like for everything. So I was looking at that, and the lowest form for Tilith I think was it was able to fill up, I think, almost like 3/4 of the way of Douglas's Super Brave Burst at SBB 10, and it gives every unit in the game, I think, regular Brave Bursts. So for me, one Fujin potion, in a sense, turned into like almost 5. So looking at it that way, you can carry 5 Fujin potions, and then just using one unit, you multiply that to 25. And when you're actually thinking about how like item space is actually getting pretty like tight in certain situations, like for me that was like insane because it really bumps up consistency over the turns where you need so much fill. And when you attack, like you'll probably get super brave burst anyway.
hmm But then that goes back to my point about Lancia, and I've been preaching this for God knows how long. I mean, in order to save that item space, couldn't you just as effectively run her and still keep up the heal and BB? That's my only problem with Tilith, is that I feel like that she is a useful unit, but she's so situational. And I think Lancia is the same way, but Lancia you can at least use... I mean, the only thing you're missing out with her is the blocking of status ailments, but that leaves you free to run another friend leader. I mean, I guess you could bring Tilith if you really wanted to. But that's my only issue with Tilith, is that like she is very useful if you have Fujin potions on you, or if you're running something that like that is going to help. But like that's like the Maxwell dungeon, that's other things. But I think she's going to be more important if they end up taking away the ability to crit in like the Vargas dungeons or the Ease dungeon or whatever. I think then you're going to see her becoming very viable, because then, I mean, you're going to need to keep that up. Now, what about what did you guys talk about as far as the new 6 stars that came out? Anything?
Not yet.
Because I feel like my time is being taken up incredibly. I feel like I can't be on my phone enough right now, just because there's so much to do. I was really hoping they split these 6 up in some way, just because I'm working on Lyra, I'm working on 6-star Tesla, I'm working on what's her name, Ronel. Been working on her for the
Vortex.
Thunder Arena, and then on top of that, like she's going to be useful in other situations too.
SBB 10.
Man, I'm so swamped right now, and I hope you guys feel the same way.
Dude, I've been just swamped over the past few days. I've been doing nothing but farming all day, farming all night. Every day I'm farming.
Yeah, I'm farming for Mare still, so.
You haven't caught her yet? How long you been farming?
Once. That's it. I took a break. I was like, okay, I'll continue my farming tomorrow. So I'll be doing the grind.
Hopefully you don't end up with the same problem as me, where I was... Oh man, I was at it for so long it wasn't even funny. I was over 100 runs, and I still
that
hadn't
sounds
gotten
like
one.
me.
But I had finally, my first one was Anima, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm good. With that, I'm finished. And I got trolled once. I was doing auto battle, and then I looked and I saw the little red thing come up. You know, when you get all the question marks at the end, and I saw a little red question mark, and I was like, oh damn, I finally got her. I'm so excited. And then it scrolls through, and it's a freaking water totem. And that was at like run 60, and I swear I came so close to throwing my phone. I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me right now! Like, this is not happening." And I just sucked it up, and I said, "All right, auto battle."
Well, speaking of being drunk, don't forget about our last show when Mofo caught her and he didn't even realize he caught her.
We're sitting there talking amongst ourselves, and I'm just like, I look down in the corner, and this is while I'm in the middle of my, like, whatever, 100+ runs, and I look down and I see it there, and we're talking about something else. I'm like, he doesn't even realize he just caught her. I think he caught her twice on that podcast.
He did.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
And
RNG.
so hopefully you don't end up with that problem, because that was absolutely ridiculous.
I already did with Zebra. I don't want to bring that
How
up.
long did you
I counted 160.
Oh
160.
my goodness!
Oh
Dude. I
god.
caught Zebra on run 38, and then with Mare, I caught my first Mare at 20, then my second Mare at 38, and then I stopped because it was the type I wanted with Anima. Because the first one I caught was Guardian.
Yeah, Zero
Yeah.
wasn't as elusive for me, but 160. I'm glad I never had to hit that number.
I have Breaker Mare and Breaker Zebra, and I keep telling myself, Breaker is the type that I want.
But in your
You wanna
heart,
join the Anima
in your
Patrol?
heart of hearts, you know you really want Anima.
Well,
Not
listen,
Breaker.
I think Breaker's actually not bad for that. Just because, I mean, look, you're trying to do as much damage as you can in one turn. Why not? You know what I mean? You're already squishy as hell. It's not like that little bit of defense is going to help that much. You're going to get smacked in the face by whatever is going to hit you the next turn if you don't kill them.
She lasts longer than Zebra because she's got better stats than Zebra.
Yeah, no, she will last longer,
Yeah.
but Zebra, no. I mean, his defense is what? It's like 1100 at Breaker and 1300 at
No, not even at
Zebra?
Breaker. No, not at
Zebra.
Breaker. No, Breaker with
Breaker's like, what, 800?
800.
with the sphere it only goes up to like 900 something.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
he's extremely
Guardian's like,
squishy
what,
either way.
1200? Something like that?
no,
Closer to
Guardian.
12?
I think Guardian goes a little higher because I know that my Anima one goes to like 1100 something.
Okay, so like 13, 14.
Maybe 13. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the high end of the leg wand. But it's better than like when I see a unit with 3 digits, I'm like, no, you need to have 4 digits. Otherwise you're like useless. It was okay for like a bit. Now it's like not at all.
So here's the big question for Yulu. Should I just burn all my frogs?
Oh god, you're calling him Yulu?
Oh,
Yulu? I don't know. There's 2 U's in it. Yulu.
yeah, this is the other thing. We might have all the data, but we'll never get any of the pronunciations.
Could be Aulu. I mean, the last syllable is definitely Lu.
Yeah, it is a U.
You know what? The Japanese name is much easier. It's Koru.
I think we should just go with that.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
much
going
easier.
with Koru.
We should just call him the Fortress.
Or the Fortress, yeah.
Frigidaire.
The fridge.
The ice box.
Somebody told me he was a washing machine. I was like, where did you get a washing machine from? This front-facing washing machine that froze over?
Or like a steam cleaner or something.
Yeah.
He has to be the most important washing machine in gaming.
That's true. Yeah, he kind of has like some R2-D2 features to him too. I don't know. I expect to see similar noises coming out of him.
And he only uses the cold cycle.
Yeah.
Good one, bro. Good one.
Well, welcoming Leon to the call, and he's muted.
Leon's always muted. I feel like every time I see
Yeah.
him, I look down at his picture. Anytime he comes in, he's always muted.
Hey, we should watch Leon do the Vargas dungeon again.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I wasn't there when that happened. I just heard that like stuff went down and he died horribly.
Are you
Did
serious?
you watch it? Noah?
Jimmy?
yeah.
Jimmy,
Did you
please.
watch it?
What?
Did you watch the video?
I haven't yet. I've
You
just
should.
been trying to, but
When you're
I'll
when
take
you're
a look
feeling
at it.
sad, You should watch it.
When I'm
Are
on
you
my
sure having
100th run for mayor or something, I'll just like,
Yeah, you should watch
what,
it then. It would make you feel
what could lift
better.
me up?
Baby, you make me so sad.
Hey, you teased me with 5 anima mares.
I
Yeah,
have
That's
31
what
now.
you get for teasing us with 5 anime
you
mirrors.
kind of had that coming. So one other thing I wanted to talk about the Thunder Vortex. I changed up my strategy so many goddamn times, and I just don't know how I feel about any of them. I'm so torn on everything, and I've been raising up units just
Yeah,
because I've been so
I know
sick
how
of
you feel.
everything that I make. Because I feel like everything works out to an extent, but it never works out the way I want it to. So I've been like I'm gonna go into my units here. Hold on a sec, Pat. If you get a second here.
I'm pretty set on what I'm going with, and
Actually, let me do it this way.
I've been using my Thunder team in the arena, and the only time so far that my Thunder team lost is if there was an Earth unit on the other team. If it was an Ophelia or if it was a Laguna, and my team didn't kill that unit first, yeah,
And Brave Burst, yeah.
that was a problem because like Laguna got a Brave Burst and he wiped out my entire team.
Well, here's what I've been seeing, and this is, I mean, a lot of this is just RNG, but I mean, my team will attack 5, kill nobody. Their team will attack 2, kill 1 to 2. My team will attack 1, kill that guy, and then their team will use Brave Burst when I'm dead. But I mean, on top of that, like, this team right now, very heavy on the attack except for Amelia, and I am having so much trouble taking out more than 1 unit per turn. And I don't know if that's just RNG or if anyone else has been having that problem, but for some reason, even with the high attack, I'm just, for some reason, I can't take out more than 1.
You need to hurry up and get to Almighty. That's what you need that Wicked Blade.
Yeah.
I do need Wicked Blade, but I've been so lazy
Yeah.
with Arena, it's not even funny.
Don't be lazy.
I've been better lately, but I don't know. There was just so much other stuff, and then like I felt like I don't like to have to keep up with the ords. That's my only problem. Like,
because I was testing. I ran into some All Thunder teams in the regular arena, and with my team, I was able to at least kill 2 of them on the first turn.
mm-hmm.
Because my team I had the same team as you with the exception of 1 unit. You put in Locke, and I have Lulu instead because Lulu's attacks like over 2K.
Yeah, I don't own a Lulu, or I probably would use her.
Yeah,
Oh, that
we
reminds
They
me.
have a different strategy. It's
Oh,
more
go ahead.
balanced, I think. So I was thinking, right? I actually like I'm also really high in arena. I was thinking like the team I'm using for arena now still has that loading leader, and then you'd go rainbow, and like it really crushes like a lot of stuff. So I was thinking like how does that go up? Because like I'm looking at my team and I actually have Carl and Lugina for BB, and then I just put in Kikuri and Cephia because they have insane attack and really high hits, and then Loden's there for his leader skill and he's really good Thunder unit to put there. So I was trying to transition that to my Thunder team, and I kept thinking, and I was like, I have all these units. Probably when I get my Ronald to 6-star, I'll try to fit her in. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so what units Brave Burst go off really fast in Thunder? And I was looking at it, and I was thinking of Paris and Behemoth, and I'm like, okay, do I sacrifice some attacking power so I can at least get Brave Burst off? Because if I can get Brave Burst off, that's like easy wins. So I was thinking about it, and since I have a Dandelga, I'm like, okay, Paris will get the Dandelga. I've used her before in Arena. When I first got her after FH3, she would kill like all the Saren teams, so I know her BB fills up really fast. So I'd have Rena actually as my leader, just because she's the only in my current setup that would give the plus 50% attack. And then I'd run probably the Behemoth and the Paris for BB kill. So if those 2 get off, they pretty much win. And then I'd still have the Loden, because with Wicked Blade, you'll basically pretty much, as long as another unit pokes the same one, like they're dead. And then I'm also running Gribe because he's insanely high attack, and probably that was my setup until probably 6-star Ronald. I'll probably have to rethink about it when I get her. But for me, the balance between the BB, it's like um, two parts of my 5 team, and if Loden goes off, then I'll probably have BBs 100%, and then the rest is up to RNG. So I actually haven't tested it out in Thunder Vortex Arena, but I did test out a couple times in Arena, and I noticed that my Paris and Behemoth, on like a couple of occasions, actually were able to get off their BBs and kill off the entire enemy team, even if they were Earth. And I was actually surprised by the output that my Behemoth did and the output that my Dandelgud up Paris did, because apparently Paris doesn't hit really hard because her BB fills so fast. But I found that strike of having units with high attack, you'd have a little bit more of that just for security, but you still need like something to fall back into. Because one thing I noticed when I was fighting Fire Vortex was that whenever I ran like a full Angelic Foil team, just like smack the enemy team, and if they had fast filling BB units and those went off, I was dead. I was like, I don't want this. So I have to balance it out. Because sometimes killing off a unit can actually be detrimental in certain situations. Because then the other units get their BB faster, and if any of those goes off, you can like basically see your team just die. Like from one unit, just die. So that's how I feel about like trying to balance that out.
Yeah, I did have Behemoth in here at one point because he has such a low BB fill rate. The only thing I was noticing with that is that his hit count is so low, and that goes the same for Paris. I mean, I've been experimenting with different teams, like I said, and this is the one that's had the most success right now, and that's only because they have a mix of power, they have a mix of hit count, and then with Loden in front, he's able to give them Brave Burst when they need it. The only problem I've been running into is that I don't know if it's just luck or what, but I just cannot manage to kill more than one unit on the first turn. And like you said, Wicked Blade would probably help out a lot with that, but I haven't. I mean, I've been getting. Sometimes if I'm lucky, I'll get BB on turn 2, probably like on Gribe or on Ronell or.
Oh, because I ran Evil Shard on my Behemoth.
Mm-hmm.
So his actually goes up like a decent chunk after the initial crystals come in, and then that'll push him up. Because I don't think he needs any more attack, because I have a Breaker one. Even though I would have liked a different type, but I think Breaker was fine for him when I got him like way back. So I was like, oh, Breaker, that's fine. So now he's like useful.
So far, my best results so far. Now this is before I changed my team, because my original team had 2 Gribes, but once we got Ronell, I took one of the Gribes out and I put her in. But so far, my best result with Thunder was 3 of my units got BB on turn 1, Loden and both of my Gribes on one of the battles. And something I've kind of noticed a lot afterwards and later battles, that I've been seeing Amelia fill up before everybody else, like quite often.
Amelia definitely gets hers pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But one thing I was trying, and this was working, but it left way too much up to RNG. I had it set up so that I had Loden's BB after turn 1 95% of the time. And what I was doing was I had the Dendelgo on him, I had Tech Gizmos on my 2 highest hit count units, and I was getting Loden's BB, like I said, 95% of the time after turn 1. The only thing was he wasn't using it, and since I wasn't killing off any units on turn 1, or I was killing one, it wasn't really helping me out, because then I would have a unit or 2 go down, or the ones that would get Brave Burst would go down before using it, and I was leaving way too much up to chance. So that's why I switched over to this one, where I have a good chance of getting BB, not always on turn 2, but definitely on turn 3, and then also doing as much damage as I can while I can do it. And so I want to rely on BB, but like this whole Thunder Vortex is just like, it's a BB barren wasteland. Like it's just so hard to come by.
Yeah, I feel like because I actually wasn't able to go into the Thunder Vortex at all to test the team, so like there's definitely lots of room for adjustment. I'm pretty sure you're not the only one. Your
Yeah.
team will probably do a lot better in Thunder Vortex than actual arena, because actual arena is totally different. I'm starting to see a lot more 6-star Lyras flood in.
Oh god,
So
yeah.
Mono Dark is
Yeah,
gonna come
I
back
just
in like a couple of days.
I
People
just fought
P
my
level
first
them.
one.
Yeah. And I'm seeing the change from to the Farlon, Ophelia, Lyra, Saren, and Loden Leader, and I actually think that's probably one of the best teams you can get in Arena right now, especially with Farlon and Ophelia getting
Mhm.
their whenever they get their 6 stars. That'll probably be the biggest team I can actually think of because they're just so consistent right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I mean, like you, this is basically the team you just said, except for I have Steffi in there. And this team just, I mean, rolls through anything and everything. And I experienced one loss, but that was completely off of RNG. And otherwise,
Yeah.
this team has completely been consistent every single time. It's crazy how much this thing just rolls through because you're guaranteed
Yep.
most likely 2 units are going to have their Brave Burst after turn 1. And if one of those units is not lock, Loden, then it's a wrap. But yeah, I'm worried that more teams are getting that 6-star Lyra in there. That's why I'm starting to raise my other ones. But like I said, I don't pay enough attention to Arena. I will soon, but right now I've been concentrating because every time something comes out, I'm like, shit, I got to work on this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, now these new 6-stars are out. Now I got to work on that. Oh, these are the other 6-stars are coming out. Now I got to work on those, the 5-star version, so I'm ready for the 6-stars when they come out. And it's like, oh, they dropped new units. Now I got to summon these. And then it's like, all right, so far behind on everything every single day. But one other thing I was wondering, since there have been rumblings of like the next set of 6-stars to come out, if there's by any stretch of the chance that we actually get like 6-star Arena for the Thunder Vortex,
Oh,
is
that's
she
gonna be
going in there?
that's a wrap.
Because
65%, yeah.
65% and her attack.
Okay, so when that comes out, it's gonna switch from like iffy team to just straight up foil, Wicked Blade, everything, and just kill as fast as you can. Because
Ibrina.
killing 2 units first turn, pretty much guaranteed. Like that's what that. I run a similar team to what you have, except I put more emphasis on the attack damage.
Mhm.
So I actually get like 2, sometimes even 3, depending on kind of team. Because like Loden, with a Wicked Blade, he can basically one-shot a Saren. So and then if 2 units attack 2 other Sarens, like there's still lots of Saren teams running around. So
Dude,
that team's basically gone.
Loading with the Wicked Blade will kill any water to the touch. Any
Yep.
water. Every time
I
I touch.
haven't seen a 6-star Olu versus the.
Okay,
Yeah,
Maybe not that, but definitely any other unit.
Any other water, every time Loden has touched water with that Wicked Blade, it's died.
Who's gonna bring an Olu to Arena?
Someone will.
Well,
I'm
if
sure.
they give-
Someone might try to go for the defense.
Yeah.
They go all defense and just like my friend. Well, you
I've
guys
actually gotten wrecked in the Fire Vortex with somebody who was bringing 5 Exil shields, and it was actually really interesting because they'd actually like most of the teams. Let's face it, in Fire Vortex, they weren't running like for the average person, they'd run like the like angelic foils. So what do you do to combat angelic foils? You bring the Exil shields, and then your units will probably live longer because it lasts 3 turns instead of 2. So when it comes to that grind race, you'll be able to get your BBs up faster, and then you'll actually use them. And then like your units don't like die, and then like you're like, oh, like that was easy win. Because a lot of people wouldn't have like extremely fast filling brave bursts, so those other units would take like a bit more time to get their BBs up. But when they go off, like you don't even need an angelic foil on those. Like lava will just like beat her wings and everything will die anyway at that point. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, what I really want to try for the Earth Vortex, and I was telling them about this, and this is just like, it just sounds fun. I wanted to run Zelban, and what did I say? Did I say
4 golems.
4 golems? Yeah, Zelban and 4 golems, all with Exil Shield. Zelban in the first slot. I just want to see people just get extremely frustrated because and then his leader skill. I mean, the 20% HP and defense, and then on top of that, the XL shields, and on top of that, the Zelban BB. Just I want to see people just get absolutely frustrated and just like claw claw at their screens.
They'll just be like, I give up.
Yeah, but I don't think that would work too well because then I'm actually seeing the 4 Ophelia teams and then those.
Oh yeah.
These up and then it'll just be like horrible. But yeah, I definitely like to see something like that.
Well, what would be really funny is to see 2 of those Ophelias throw down their Brave Burst and have them just tank it.
Yeah, I can
just watch them take it and just be like, nope, sorry.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. I want to see what happens here. I found a Thunder lead here, so I'm guessing they have their Thunder team up, assuming.
Thunder.
Hold on a second. That's
yeah.
Well, I don't know, because that's Amy, and that's not just for Thunder.
That's 25% on all, but...
Let me tell you, I haven't, on all my time here, I haven't seen an Amy lead just for the hell of it. Not this high. So we're going to see what happens.
What do we see?
Okay.
Okay, it's all Thunder. Ah, there's a Falma.
Poor loading.
There's a shield. I'm looking at that.
Oh, there's. Well, Essen's gone. Uh-oh.
Oh my god, Amelia.
Oh. Well, yeah, he's lost. He's lost. It's over.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that, like, it's an okay.
Yeah, it's not a crazy...
That's like what a lot of people would try to piece together.
Yeah, Falma,
I actually see a Fenia instead of a Falma, because at least it's AoE.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't, I was thinking about putting Amelia in, but I was thinking about it's like, these games might go longer, but every unit I want in my team to have Brave Bursts that are AoE, so, because I'm already losing load-in for that, so I feel like I would just put AoE instead, because as much as you'd love that single target BB paralysis to go off, it's not like a Cayena where it like one BB goes off AoE paralysis hacks. I actually was able to win 1v5. The enemy like wiped out my entire team. My Cayena was the only one left. Brave Burst once paralyzed 5 of the enemy team. They were still alive. Brave Burst again, they all died. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's life.
Yeah, I mean, Amelia's really only in there for the leader skill and the hit count because I mean her attack is crap. And I really can't do anything else. Obviously, her Brave Burst isn't going to help a whole lot. But like I said, like she helps increase the BC production, and mostly likely what will happen if Rena does come out, I will get rid of Amelia. I'll throw Rena in as lead, and I'll call it a day. I won't even worry about it. And I have multiple Renas, but I don't know if I'd run more than one, just because while she does hit really hard, I don't want to sacrifice the BC production, and I also don't want to have to waste the time raising up another one.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Like in the long scheme of things, I don't want to put like any resources into actually doing Thunder Vortex at all, because I'm looking at the rewards and I'm like, oh, they're the exact same thing. Do I really need this stuff? No. Like I could deal with it not having any of this. Like if I were to just get like this unit up because I like wanted it to be level 100, then yeah, sure. And I'm sure a lot of people, unless you really like, if you think the Thunder Vortex event is like fun and you really want to place high, I don't think like it's too much of an issue, because they're gonna have one for every element. Obviously, the one element that everybody's gonna be ready for, I think, is Dark. The 6-star leaders are just gonna be like, yo, we're here.
The Dark one actually scares me. I'm so worried about that because it's gonna be like an all-out bloodbath.
I'm actually gonna see. I'm gonna see some Erics. I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna see Erics on there because you're gonna have that light change. Same thing with Themis, and then it's gonna be like GG. Anyway,
at that point, wouldn't you just run Gra though?
Wouldn't you just run Gra? I actually wouldn't run Gra because I don't think Gra in that situation would help out too much because you need the you still need the insane damage. If you look at Eric's, even if it's random, I saw the Dia damage in Arena, and if you're hitting super effective random hits, you'll still like you'll kill multiple things. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Whereas Gra, like I feel like with that team, you'd still get kills, right? So you wouldn't necessarily need AOE, but you'd like random in that situation would be better than single target because you'd be able to like kind of do a shotgun method instead of like a weak splash of water to the face.
Well, is there any use in maybe making Gra your lead?
The damage reduction is the only thing I can think of, but with the insanely fast BB fill anyway, I just don't think that the damage reduction, like 15%, on units that'll probably can actually get all like let's say you run like a 50% or 65% dark lead, and then you run like this is like by the time Dark comes out, we might be seeing Spear Frogged Lyras. And Spear Frogged Lyras would have the foil and the shard on them. And foil plus shard equals your entire team is screwed. Because that situation is basically you're gonna get hit for tons of damage, and then the evil shard almost like guarantees like BB fill 4 of them next turn anyway. And if we're going, it really depends on when it is, but I'm guessing Dark will be one of the last ones. If we're going in any order from like the 4 elements to the last 2, which is Light and Dark, I can totally see that being the case.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Who knows what's going to be out by then, especially if we see any of the units that just dropped in the Japanese version. And I mean, there's one unit in particular I'm talking about, and I'm sure you all know.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how useful she is in Arena, but oh man, is she awesome.
I was actually thinking of Kaja. When I look at it, when your HP in Arena, like you'll be able to like let's say a lot of units just get low, then that bonus damage, it's just like you die anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing I was really interested in looking at damage wise, see how much you'll actually be able to dish out.
Well, I'm curious about Elza's fill rate. If it's low, I mean, how do you not run her?
I'm still waiting for the light unit. I'm looking at the list, and like I'm still waiting for that light unit that actually fills up fast. Because I don't really see any.
That's a good point.
Like you can count Alma as one, but like a 5-star max unit doesn't bring much to the table anyway. Even looking at the multiplier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see Alma giving people trouble if you're going up against her, and she just happens to get it before your team gets Ray Burst, and then who knows what. But I mean, avoiding the full Cephia teams, I think, is going to be the scary part, and that's only because I'm not really sure what else people would be running at that point.
Yeah, I was thinking about that for a bit, and I was thinking people would run this really depends on like if you really wanted to, but if you do the Dandelga plus like Evil Shard or Magic Ore combo on a Themis, and then you run Almost instead, I could see that team actually kicking a lot of people's butts because even though it's fast filling, if you're hitting super effective, that doesn't matter anyway. And then you'll have the heal as well, just in case, like if none of your units' Bravers go off. So that's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, and then I'm really interested to see, like you said, like we don't know when these vortexes are going to come out. I mean, how long was it between the Fire Vortex and the Thunder Vortex? Even though technically the Thunder Vortex isn't out yet. It doesn't feel like it was that long of a stretch.
It was about maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right?
I think it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks sounds about right.
Because I was kind of expecting it to be something like
next month.
Yeah, like a month-to-month kind of thing, and at that point you're talking 6 months down the road. But if they're going to be like 2 to 3 weeks, we may be seeing them faster than we expect, and so maybe there won't be all that. The unit difference won't be all that different from what we see in Japan right now. Which I almost would prefer, just because I don't want this to drag out longer than it has to. I mean, especially since the prizes, while I am really happy that the prizes are, unique units,
It's
they're
not
5-star.
good.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the only problem. And while I did find a use for Blaze, and I'm sure we'll find a use for the new unit, I mean, it's still not what it could be. And I think that they could have gone farther and made these things have six-star evolutions, and I think that this would be incredibly competitive if they did.
Yeah.
The Vortex units for the Vortex Arena actually has a better attack buff compared to the half of the Guardians.
Yeah, the ones
the
that give
respective
the elemental buff, but their stats aren't nearly as high. That's the only
Yeah,
problem.
that's the only problem.
So
Yeah, in terms
I
of
mean,
usage, they're like they get their time in the spotlight and then they just get forgotten. Like
exactly.
people were like, "Oh, I want Blaze," and then like you don't
Like,
hear anybody saying, "I want Blaze" anymore.
And like I've tried him out actually in like crit teams, and he does help out a lot. I mean, he does do a lot of damage when you have like the mare and zebra leads, but then you're sacrificing a spot, and then you have to figure out like, okay, well, who would I be getting rid of to throw him in there? So it kind of, you know, it's nice that they thought of these units and they thought of a way to make people want to play this, but with them going up to 5-stars still, that's like, why not just put them in just regular Vortex? Why even make an arena event? Why not just make them capturable? You know?
Yeah, this feels like a variation of the Victory Point tournament. I actually prefer this to Victory Point tournament
Oh, definitely.
because
Oh god.
if they continued that event, like I know on the last one, the one where it's just Vortex, like I did a reasonable amount of like parades, and like I only ended up like 400, and I was looking at my friends and they were like I was like 46,000 points. They were like 50, 55,000. They were still not anywhere near close top 100. And I was looking at it and I was like, how much points did you need for like top 100? It's like over 100k, and I was like, what? I have to do like 10 metal parades like to just even get close to top 100, and I was like, no, that's bad. At least here, like gemming is actually like frowned upon, even though you could do it to really stay on top. But I just don't see this event really like gaining as much steam like Frontier Hunter did.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. If they offered something, I'm gonna say better, or you know, comparable to Frontier Hunter. I mean, yes, they are giving away a unit, but the usefulness is not nearly what it is in Frontier Hunter. And on top of that, like Frontier Hunter, is more complex. There's more to do. There's more you have to prepare for. This is literally just throw in units of a certain color and do it that way. Now, if they had put in stipulations such as like you can't run multiple units, you know, same multiples of the same unit, or you can't, you know, this division is if you want to get this specific sphere, you can only run 3-stars. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been more interesting because then you're really putting a technical side to it where you're like, oh crap, all right, what 3-stars can I run? Like, I have no idea, because that kind of puts like a cap on it where, you know, where you really have to think instead of just being like, okay, well, let me just find the hardest hitting units I have and I'm going to throw them in there. Where then that leaves free players with the disadvantage of saying like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? There's no way. I mean, I'm going to be lucky if I get the unit, and on top of that, there's no way that I'm placing even near top 1,000.
Yeah, I think if they really wanted it to be pure RNG, it's just like get a team of 5 Thunder Ghosts and go into arena and let's see, like let's have a tournament. Like you get
The
play some
Thunder
tournament,
Ghost Arena tournament.
see how far you go, and then
Except
like,
for some people could run kings and some people could run gods, some people crystals.
well,
Depends how many gems you put in.
like if they made it like that, I'm sure we'd see a lot of Thunder Crystal teams like just dominate. But if you like limit it, like not even 3-stars, because I think 3-stars is too high. That just limits like basically who rare summons the most, right? So I'd actually limit it to like 2 stars or like 1 stars. Like see a crazy team, like low level actually like get their BBs off, like oh the BB goes off, and then you're waiting for the damage, and then you see the damage go off, and you're like oh.
The reason why I say
300
is because I think 3-star would be interesting because how many 3-stars do you still have sitting around that you didn't already evolve to where they need to be? Or on top of that, like how many times have you summoned lately and gotten a 3-star? Most things come in 4 stars now. So you're having to go back to older units. It's recycling older units that you wouldn't normally use, and then offer some great prize like a 6-star unit, and all of a sudden everyone is like, oh man, what do I do now? Like,
Everybody riots. Because number one, I don't think it's like that version. I think is just unfriendly all around. Because number one, you just like you actually have to try to rare summon for like 3-star units, which I'm sure a very very small percentage of people will actually get those 3-star units, and if they're of a certain element, that'd be even worse. And then you just have people picking up like mob units, and then they'd like max those out instead, and then maybe those who do actually better than your like rare summon units, and then people get angry. It's like, why did I rare summon? I'm getting beaten by like, what is this, like a grapple? Like, what is this?
listen, in my opinion, if you're
Like the
getting
dwarf.
beaten by quest units, then that's your own fault.
The dwarf with 80% paralyzed.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, exactly. You can throw in the dwarf for 80% paralyze, and boom.
Oh god.
That's funny though.
80%.
80%. He gets an
Yeah.
80% chance to paralyze.
With a
Actually,
12 CC cost.
most of those units
Oh my
have
god.
80% for each of theirs.
What am I looking at?
Dwarf Prince.
Damn it, GP. I'm looking at a picture of Fee, Zelha, and Nalmika with the rare summon picture.
Oh yeah, it's posted on Reddit.
Yeah, and I'm just like, when did we get our last rare summon? Like what? Like a week ago?
Which one?
The last set of rare summons. That was just like last week, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that, just because, like I said before, I'm so far behind on everything as it is that I feel like I'm constantly catching up. But then to top that off, like now they're going to start rushing units, which I don't know. A, my bank account, there's no way it's going to take that.
Yeah.
And B, I mean, you're talking about now all of a sudden having to worry about all these new units. It's gotten to the point where when they release new units, I'm not too crazy about going and summoning. I'm more interested in summoning when their 6-stars come out, because I know I have a second chance of their rates being raised. So unless they take that away, there's really no reason for me to summon during the initial release, especially since they're not being released with 6 stars. If they were, then obviously you have a reason to. But I mean, if they continue this, then why bother?
Yeah, because I feel like the thing is though, like it'll get like so far behind 6-star units wise, is that like when those units come out, you're already leveling up your other units, and you're like, oh, I wish I had these units maxed out already. Is because like I remember how they did it was like as soon as they released 6 stars, bam, here's an event, you know. Like Frontier Hunter, and then like you'd need those units for Frontier Hunter. Like I know like a lot of people needed like 6-star Michelle at least, or 6-star Zelda to even survive that Frontier Hunter. And if you rare summoned it that late, you really didn't have like any time to like level up those units to both to 5-star and then max them out and 6-star. So that's how I feel like they're doing it.
Well, either way, I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. But I think that is going to be the end of this emergency podcast. We pretty much covered most of what we wanted to get to. So unless anyone else has anything they want to add. What's that?
It's the Ninja podcast.
Yeah, it's the Ninja podcast. But you know
Ninja.
what? Secret show. That's how it goes. But I invite everyone to come out and check us out at our regular time. It's Fridays, and that is at 10 p.m. EDT. I highly suggest you come check it out. This week, who do we have on the show?
I think it's Quas.
I think it's either Kwas or Cypher.
Yeah, Quas or Cypher.
Well, one of them will definitely let us know. As you can see, we're so organized. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming along with us. And yeah, we hope to see you Friday. Take it easy.
Bye.
Night, everybody.